everyone, Tina here. I hope you're having a lovely day. Thanks so much for joining me. Well, today we're going to make a couple of sweet cards and we're using some items from Hero Arts. The items I'm using are part of Hero Arts Beary Sweet Collection. And I'm so excited about this because it's just an adorable collection. We're using 3 items from the collection. We have the Hero Arts Stamp and Cut set called Let's Stick Together. We have the Big Hugs stamp set, and then we have the coordinating Big Hugs die set. This creates the Big Hugs, and then it has a shadow behind it. So I thought it'd be really fun. And I love the curvy greetings that can go around the letters. I just thought that was so cute. So these are the items we're going to be using. So let's jump in and get started. We're going to start by doing all of our stamping at once. Okay. We're going to stamp the outline images of our gummy bears first. And we're going to do heat embossing. Now I'm doing this first because the shadow that goes to the gummy is in 2 pieces. Okay, so this gummy to stamp and color in has these 2 pieces. And so this way you can go half and half. You know, just like regular gummies, you can go pink and purple if you want. I thought that was really cool. But I have to heat emboss first to do that. We're going to heat emboss the gummies with a watermark ink. And I put these 2 in the corner because we're going to do lots of gummies. And if I put it in the corner, then I can turn my paper. It's a 4 1/4 by 4 1/4 inch paper. So I'll stamp and then I'll add my white embossing powder. We'll do a little tapping with it. Kind of hard to see, but it's there. I'm going to heat set this and I'm going to stamp again in this corner. So this set's done. I'm going to turn my paper, put it back in my stamping positioner. I had my hands all over it, so I'm going to go back over it with my powder. We'll ink this up one more time. And then I'm going to stamp this one over here in the next corner. And we're going to do this to all 4 corners. You can see it here. I'm going to do this corner, this corner, this corner, this corner. And I'm going to do it 2 more times. So we're going to have lots of gummies for our background. So I have 3 panels that are heat embossed. I'm going to put that paper back in here, and now we're going to grab the solid image. And I can see it, but I'm afraid you guys won't be able to see this. But I'm going to line it up here. We're going to do this in sections. Okay, first we'll start off with the head portion. I'm bringing in my ink cubes from Simon because they're smaller and I can do 2 at a time. The colors that I'm using for my gummy worms are Sweets, Butter, Tide Pool, and Sherbet. Nice bright colors. Tide Pool. And then I'm going to turn this and we're going to stamp one more time. Okay, so we have 4. I'm going to flip over my card. I'm going to wipe them off and then we're going to stamp Sherbet next. Okay, we're going to turn it and we'll do the same thing. Okay, now I'm going to continue with the next 2 and we're going to use the other colors of inks. The first half of our gummies are all done. I did a little switching with my inks. I switched out my Butter for Zest. It was darker yellow. Okay, Sweets was this color and I thought I'd bring in a brighter pink, which was Carnation, and that's what these are, but it ended up being about the same color. And then I also brought in a green. Originally this is Field, it was too dark, but we're going to be using Limalicious, which is this one, for the second half of our gummies, okay? So a little ink switching. I'm going to pick up the second half of my gummies and we're going to go to town stamping. We'll start off with Limalicious. Okay, my stamping is all done. Since we did go over white embossing powder, I'm going to take a little bit of alcohol on my towel. I'm just going to spray a little bit on here. And then I'm going to go over my images and wipe away the ink from that embossed area. Okay, let's do a little ink blending with our yellow. I'm going to use my Zest. We're going to add a little color up here. Okay, and then we're going to mix sweets right over here, blending them both together to create a little orange. There we go. Lovely. And we're going to add our Limalicious on the bottom. And then we're gonna mix that with Tide Pool. Lovely. Now we're gonna do all of our die cutting. So let's take our big Hugs die. We're gonna die cut out Hugs down here on the bottom, and then we'll die cut out Big over here at the top. Maybe we'll switch them. We'll die cut out Hugs with the green and then Big with the pink and yellow. I'll take some black cardstock and we're going to die cut out the shadow of the big Hugs with black. And then we'll die cut out all of our gummies using the coordinating dies. Die cutting is all done. Okay, not only did I die cut out the ink blended Hugs in the black, but I also did 2 whites. Okay, for my second card. So let's go ahead and layer. I'm going to put the ink blended on the white, and then I'm going to put the white big Hugs on the black shadow. So my big Hugs are all done, and I switched out the G's. I thought that would be really cute for the card, for one of my cards. Okay, I'm bringing in some of my Hero Arts Icicle glitter, and we're going to add a little sugar to the greeting here. I'm going to bring in my Spellbinders glazing glue. And I'm going to add sugar to the bottom portion. I'm just going to add a little bit of glazing glue. You don't need very much. Just to the bottom half of the letters. Here, at least on the white ones. Okay, and then I'm going to bring in some scratch paper. Grab my tweezers. We're going to add a little sugar to our Hugs. It's kind of subtle, but I love how that looks. And then I'm going to do the same thing to our big. And let's do our ink blended one. We'll sugar these up. And this doesn't take very much time at all to dry, okay? I'm going to funnel this back in here because we're going to do a little bit more sugaring. We're going to take some of our gummy worms. And some of the gummy worms I stamped. My stamping was a little bit out of the lines. Let me show you. My paper shifted. So these are the ones that I'm going to cover with sugar. Good way to hide some mistakes. This is a great way to hide imperfections too. And I almost did all of them. I stopped here, but the rest of them have sugar on them. Okay, now we're going to work on our background. For my first card, I have a panel that measures 4 inches by 5 1/4, and then I have some masking paper that I trimmed down to 4 1/4 by 3 inches. Okay, I'm just going to remove the release paper off of the back, and we're going to center this panel here. Okay, and then I'm bringing in a stencil. This is the Hero Arts Clouds and Grass stencil. We're going to add some cloudy rainbow sky in the background. Let's see, what color are we going to do? Okay, Limalicious first. Okay, and we're just going to add some color here. Then we're going to scoot down the stencil, and then we'll add Tide Pool. Okay, we'll shift it down a little bit more. This time I need to wipe off my stencil. Okay, because we're going to add our zest. Okay, and I was just going to use these 3, but I think I'm going to go with all of the colors. So next we're going to add in sherbet. Then we can go ahead and add our sweets. Really all you need to worry about is the left and the right. Okay, and then we're going to just repeat it. Okay, lovely. Okay, so this panel is all done. I'm going to go ahead and remove the mask. And then we have a little colorful border. And then next I have a panel that is 3 3/4 by 5 inches. We're going to do a little bit more stenciling on here. But this time I'm going to take a circle mask. Okay, this is, let me see, a 2 3/4 inch wide circle. We'll add this to our panel, and then we're going to do the same ink blending that we did here on here. Now this background's done. All we have to do is remove the release paper off of this mask. And this pen, actually let's add a little bit of pink over here. Okay, so we have 2 panels that are ready to go. We're going to put these to the side, and I think our glazing glue is about ready. I'm going to put away my inks, and then we're going to build some cards. We're going to go ahead and add our backgrounds to the front of our card bases just using our tape runner. We're going to do this card first. First we're going to go ahead and add our ink blended big hugs right up here inside of the circle. There we go. And then I'm going to take our Big Hug stamp set, and I'm going to go ahead and take From Me to You. And I love how these curve. I just think this is so neat. I'm going to stamp From Me to You up here right above the G. I think that looks just adorable. And then we're going to fill in some of the big hugs with our gummy worms. When I added the glitter with the glazing glue, some of the ink did brighten up. Let me show you. Some of the ink did change colors. Let me show you this one. So we have a little color variation, but it kind of goes with the gummies. So that's a happy accident. I'm going to add some small foam squares here. And we're going to add some light colored gummies to this card. The lightest I can find. Okay. So I put 3 gummies. One here. And then I put one here and one here. And they're all sugared. You can see the little... With the sun going down, you can actually see the sparkle. How nice is that? So that's my first card. Now my second card, I had an idea. I don't know if this is gonna, actually I need to. My second card, I actually have to put a foam square behind here because he's just flying all over the place. Okay, I'm gonna bring in some of my Simon Says stamp. We're gonna finish this card with some moonshine sequins. I want the colorful background to shine. So we're gonna do a little tucking with some of the moonshine. I think that's just what it needed. So cute. We're going to keep these out because we're going to use these for our next card. Okay, now I have an idea for my next card, but that's my first card. The sun's going down so you could really see the shine. Looks like sugar. Okay, now for my next card, I have an idea, and it could be a big fail, but we'll see. We have a lot of gummies here left over. So what I'm going to do is take some packaging. I'm actually going to use my Spellbinders gem packaging. I'm just going to take these out. Okay. Actually, one gets stuck in there. I want to seal the bottom up. Just fold it. This is the release paper here, and then there's a hole on the packaging. So I'm just going to trim the top part off. Okay, so now we have a paper bag. Now we have a plastic bag. Okay, go through your packaging, find a plastic bag that is about 3.5 inches wide. Okay, it could be smaller, it could be a little bit bigger if you want. And I thought we would carefully fill this bag with some gummies. Okay, I may have stamped too many. Just making, when you feel this, you just want to make sure that they're all right side up. I'm going to bring in some baker's twine. This is black and white baker's twine. Okay, I'm going to, while I'm at it, I'm going to pour some of my moonshine sequins in here. We're going to tie a knot. I have my tweezers. Lovely. This is so fun. I want to flatten it a little bit. And actually all my sequins are on the back. I'm going to try and push them to the front. Okay. And then I want to tie a bow. And then I'm going to trim the tails here. And I'm also going to trim the top of my bag. There we go. So there is my little bag of gummies. They want to scoot together, so I'm going to separate them a little bit. Fix that bow a little bit. I'm going to flip this over. There's dimension to this, but I'm going to add some adhesive. Spellbinders Tape Runner works great for this. You just can go right over the plastic. Okay, and then I'm going to take my little bag of gummies and I'm going to place it down here on the bottom of the card. Now this does have a little dimension to it. Okay, if you were going to put this in an envelope, I suggest putting a cardstock on front and then sliding it in. Okay. And it does have a little bulk to it. Okay, so that little baggie does have bulk. This is probably one you want to add extra postage to for sure. Okay, looking so cute so far. Sometimes this could be a hit or a miss when I come up with these ideas. But go through your packaging and fill it up with these. It looks so cute on a card. Oh my goodness. Okay, and it doesn't have the bulk that real gummies would have. Okay, I am going to use the Let's Stick Together stamp set. I did stamp Sending Warm Hugs. Okay, I thought we would add an extra greeting, so I'm not going to use the big for this card. I'm just going to use the hugs. And I'm going to place this up here in the center. And since we already have hugs here, I'm going to cut off the hugs on this greeting. We're just going to customize it a little bit. Okay, I'm going to add, let's see, I'm going to put a foam square on this side of this gummy, and I'm going to add a little glue, and we're going to add this on the outside of the bag. I think that would look really cute. And then with this sugared up worm, we're going to add a little glue here, and we're going to do a little tucking up here. I think that looks really cute. Kind of spread out the color a little bit more there. And then I'm going to add some glue behind the sending worm, which is adorable. And I'm going to actually pop this up. I wasn't going to pop it up, but I think I am. So this calls for some micro squares. I scooted this little guy down. Okay, but so cute. But I think we need something here. So I'm going to bring this stamp set back. And we're going to add a greeting down there. Let's add Just For You. I think that will go perfect in this open area. And since we have a little bulk, I'm hoping I can get away with it. Okay, I'm going to attempt to stamp Just For You over here. And I think this will fill in the area, but we do have the bulk from our candy bag. So I'm going to be real careful. Oh. Nope. Okay. And that was a fail. Okay, but no worries. We can always fix it. Let's stamp it again on some white cardstock. Okay. And then I'm going to take a circle punch. I'm going to punch it out. You could use a circle die if you wanted. Okay, and then I'm going to use my scissors. We'll add a little glue here. Okay, and then we'll do a little tucking with this. Covering up our mistake. And looks like that was just meant to be there. There we go. That was a pretty easy fix. So that's my second card here, a little bag of candy. That's my first card, we're a little bit more softer. But those are my two cards using some brand new items over at Hero Arts. I'll link everything down below. And save your packaging, because I think it looks really cute. If you want to visit my blog, there's some really cute close-up pictures. So check it out over there. Thanks for joining me today. Have a wonderful rest of your day, and we'll see you soon. Bye-bye. Thanks so much for sticking with me to the end. I have 2 more videos that you guys might be interested here. If you guys are new and like the content that you see, click that subscribe button and also the notification bell. That way for future videos, be notified. Also, if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. It sure does help the channel. Have a wonderful day. We'll see you soon. Bye-bye.